With Jacquemus, it feels like you're looking at a memory. You have the south of France, you have the warmth, the family, the food, the landscape, home. It feels like home. That is all Jacquemus, and you can feel that from every single interaction with the brand, regardless of if you have a Jacquemus product. And that is something that Jacquemus in particular does incredibly well. It's definitely something that luxury brands have mastered, but it's something that you can master within your own brand. I study brands and the people behind them to really get into the root of what makes a brand impactful, what makes them long lasting, and build a world around them that everyone feels before they even interact with the product. In this video, I'm going to be exploring Jacquemus as to why luxury brands know exactly who they are and the advantages of knowing who you are. This is who you are to your core, your experiences, your perspectives, your beliefs, even your traumas, things that have made you who you are today, things that have compiled into you. I truly believe this is a competitive advantage that not a lot of brands implement in their strategy. Being a fashion house that only launched in 2009, Jacquemus has been able to create a world around them that has the strength to make people feel included to something that they were never included in, something that they were never a part of. Where most brands get it wrong is they tell you what they are, they tell you how to feel, they tell you what their world is. But Jacquemus doesn't do that. Jacquemus does the opposite. They express themselves, they share their personal memories, their personal experiences, their personal taste. It invites you to the world that it's creating, and it urges you to have an emotional attachment of your own, to create your own feelings. You feel the importance of family, the importance of nostalgia, all from his own personal memories, his own personal world. You feel it and resonate it to your own. The story is so specific to him, it's so personal to Simon that he and only he can tell it, and he tells it in a way that no one else could replicate. The story he tells has been so broken down and expressed in so many different ways. He's really gotten to the core of what the message is, and that message is universal. He doesn't need you to live his life. He needs you to feel the universal feeling of feeling at home, the universal feeling of family, nostalgia, where you've come from, that respect for your elders, that respect for who you are as a person. It all boils down to every single imagery that he expresses, every single shoot, every single editorial, every single runway. It all ties into the same message. I think this is where brands go wrong. They're scared to be too specific. They stick to trends. They kind of follow what's going on. I think there's also an urge to have a safer message, be trend driven, relate to everybody. But Jacquemus goes into one person's world and goes deeper and deeper and deeper into it until it hits something valuable, something universally understood. And that is the core, that is the message. The deeper you go within yourself, the more universal you become, because at our core, we all want the same things, we all have the same desires. So why is this a competitive advantage? Well, your competitors can't see your mind, they can't see your experiences, they can't live it. They will never understand the world that you're building. So they can copy your color palette, your campaigns, even your products. They can even copy your marketing strategy, but they can never copy a lifetime of experiences from where you've come from. And this is why founder-led brands have an opportunity that most companies don't actually have the chance to take. Instead of asking what do other people want, you have the ability to ask yourself, what do you want? Jacquemus looks good obviously, but looking good doesn't explain why the brand is emotionally recognizable instantly. When you see a piece of Jacquemus's campaigns, when you see their products, you know it's Jacquemus. And that's because there's a difference between having an aesthetic and identity. Your aesthetic is your expression, but your aesthetic cannot survive without an identity, because your aesthetic comes from your identity, and without your identity, your aesthetic is just decoration. Beautiful decoration, but it's still decoration. You can't do anything valuable, have cultural impact, or have impact in general with a beautiful thing. I like the idea of humanizing your brand. So in this way, you're giving your brand values, perspectives, beliefs, and you express those perspectives, beliefs, and values through your content, through your editorial shoots, through your campaigns, not the other way around. Especially with the rise of AI, having a brand that is aesthetically pleasing, aesthetically beautiful, it's great, and you can be a reference point for a lot of people. But I think aesthetics without identity is soulless. The brands that will go far are the brands that have this luxury feel. The luxury feel comes from knowing yourself so deeply and knowing the core belief that you have that can be universally shared. And that's not to say that you're for everybody, but it's to say that everybody can feel a part of themselves in your brand because you know what your core belief is. And core beliefs are universal. Start with your experiences. Write down a list of your experiences, things that you have gone through that you can remember. Those are the things that have made an impact. The good times, the bad times, all of those things. Focus on those. Then you move into your values. What do you value as a person? And then you get into your beliefs, because your experiences shape what you value, your values shape what you believe. And then what you believe, that shapes how you express yourself. So the next part is expression, self-expression. When you repeat this expression enough, it becomes a brand world. The importance of these things is so that you know what not to interact with and what to interact with. You know what to say yes to and you know what to avoid. Is a discipline that a lot of luxury brands have because they stick to who they are. So when people experience them, they can link that experience, that piece of content directly with them because their personality and their world is consistent. You are posting with the same message, the same intention. That through time is going to create familiarity, it's going to create connection with the belief and your brand. This strategy is for building communities, for building long-term impact, long-term trust, a long-term discipline, a long-term commitment. Like I said, Jacquemus were able to achieve this within a very short time, but it still took time to understand who they were. The key point is repetition. Yes, you may be making incredible content, but the more you repeat the effort of understanding yourself and understanding how to better express the world that you're building, the more you do that, the clearer your brand world will be. The real consistency to me is having strong internal belief systems, and this is expressed differently. So you have the beliefs first, but the expression is different. Every time you express yourself, it is different through a different lens of what the belief means to you. For Jacquemus, this anchor is home. And every single campaign, every single piece of content they produce answers the same question: how can they express this better? And with time, they keep strengthening their brand well. So ask yourself, what is your anchor and how can you express this anchor belief more efficiently? How can you get to the core of what it is you do believe and use that as an anchor to create a world so strong people feel before they even purchase or interact with your product? So for Jacquemus, is asking the question of, if the anchor is home, what does home look like? What does home feel like? How can we express this better? How can we express this in the way we create our content, in the way we speak, in the messages that we share? Your greatest setback for your brand might be that you're not asking yourself enough questions. That is what it takes to have a brand that feels intentional. You must be intentional. You can't fake intentionality. You cannot fake depth. You don't have the resources to understand yourself. So how can you understand your customers? And they know this, okay? They can feel it. They can feel, in comparison to a luxury brand, they can feel the difference. If you spend 10% of your efforts on this every month, constantly asking yourself, how can we create a world that resonates with who we are? This is such a small thing that will align you or put you head to head with luxury brands because they are doing this incredibly, and it's something that you can do for free. Another reason why it is important to use this strategy commercially is because people are not actually ready to buy from you as soon as they see your brand. 3% of people will buy and they're not likely to even stay or resonate with who you are as a brand, and you don't really want people like that. When people trust you, they will literally follow you to Timbuktu because they believe in what it is you're creating. You're building recognition and emotional association. If every interaction with your customer is, hey, buy this, purchase this, buy this now, before it goes, buy this now, buy this now, before you've even created a environment for them to trust you, that is all they're going to see you as. And you're limiting your relationship with the customer to someone's ability to buy from you, when you can create value through inspiration, through tapping into a feeling within the person that they didn't even know was there. You have taken that time to know yourself, and in turn you're sharing your expression of that with other people. A new perspective, a new way of thinking, and that is invaluable, and that is also free. I was reading an article and they said every single Jacquemus content feels like a postcard. And I was like, absolutely, it does. The way they do it is they know themselves so deeply and they explore it in multiple ways. What you're seeing is years of exploring themselves, because people do not remember what you do. They remember how you make them feel. And if you are not making people feel good in 2026, 2027 onwards, you are not going to be a brand that is remembered, recognizable, or emotionally resonated with. Now, of course, there's the question of what if Simon disappeared? What if he took a step back from Jacquemus? Would the brand still have his essence? And I truly believe it would, if the brand was occupied by someone who believed and respected in his vision. So I don't think the challenge is, will someone be able to replicate what he's done? No, they won't. I think the challenge comes to, would they be able to understand the soul behind the brand? Would they respect the values, beliefs, and perspectives that made the brand? And will they understand the core? And I do believe that they would, because like I said, Jacquemus are very consistent in their imagery. They're consistent in the way that they make you feel and the world that they have created. It consistently speaks Jacquemus. So the expression can and will evolve, but the principles must remain. This is what luxury brands have that a lot of startup brands, people who want to make personal brands, don't necessarily focus on, because it's an area that you don't think is important. Think about who it is that you are and what you can contribute to the world, what value you want to provide, and also what world you are building for yourself.